Hey, now we're at God. I hope I'm saying his name right. Burleigh Grimes. Old Stubblebeard. I don't even know how he gets the name Old Stubblebeard. That's an interesting name. Every picture I see of him, he doesn't have a beard, or maybe he didn't shave. I don't know. They're all black and white photos. But anyways, probably his biggest distinction is he was the very last legal spitball user in 1920. The Major League Baseball banned spitballers, but they allowed like 17 players that grandfathered in. He was one of them. He was the last legal spitball pitcher. He amassed a pretty impressive record, 280 some wins, 3.5 something ERA. I don't know all things top of my head. He was a very fierce competitor, won a World Series with St. Louis in the 30s. And he kind of just like was drifting on the Hall of Fame ballot and eventually elected in 1964. He lived a very long time. He lived to 1985, which was like right before these mass shows started. So he wasn't really on the circuit because there really was no signing circuit back then. But the problem is, and I talk about this era of players between like 1980 and 1990, people that passed away around that era that were like decent signers. I'm not talking like a Willard Brown or an F. Manley, that a lot, and they had such shaky signatures that like I get very worried about signed baseballs because it's such a target of forgers, and they shake so much that like that's what forgers do if they're slow. They hesitate. So, and the infirmary of his hand will get to definitely existed with him. So I would be very cautious just when buying single sign baseballs. And again, we'll get to the PSA database in a moment. He was a very good signer through the mail. So finding his autograph is something very easily to acquire. The two things to look out for are the signed press steel postcards, which is a big collector's item. Again, it's only Jake or like Bill or someone no better than I would. I think it's only like $300-$400 item. Then you have the signed baseballs, which are like $500-$600. So, okay, without any further ado, let's take a look at the autograph analysis. I hope I'm saying this right. Or Burleigh Grimes. Ooh, I didn't pull it up here. So again, this is, and I wish this stopped sharing anything when it show up here so much as the way it does. So this is an early signature of Burleigh Grimes. Usually what you're looking for is a break between the B and the U. Not always, not in very early signatures, and again, between the I and the G. Now, early signatures are very tough to forge. It's a very smooth autograph. He commonly signed his initial A. The only time you really don't see it is like with documents, stuff like that. But for fans, you usually sign the A as well. Again, you can see right here, it's still signed, still very nice signature. Again, his signature usually leans a little bit to the right. That's pretty common. You can see right here, again, break between the I and the G. The B is connected to the U. Again, it could go either way. And again, it's just a nice, smooth, you can read every letter signature. And again, this is signed until infirmary of the hand came. But this is a very common signature autograph of his. Again, you can see the G starting to lean in, but again, the B, I think, touches the U, but again, you see the I break between here. I mean, the early signature has the 8 with the G, as you can see right here, kind of a little bit like Michael Jordan. But anyways, I digress. Again, this is a very common picture of him getting ready to throw a spitball. Now we're getting to the more, let's say, modern signatures towards the end of his life. Let's say post Hall of Fame induction. And again, when I'm looking for this autograph, and if I were looking for a single sign baseball, I'd be very careful. I want a ball like this in the sense that you could sort of see the 8 right here going in. It's still shaky. Frankly, I would not buy, never, ever, ever buy like a Burleigh Grimes signed baseball unless maybe it came from his family. But usually the ones that I see that are good start way to the left, and they're not right over the sweet spot, as you can see right here. You could see how it signs closer to like the Rawlings logo over here. So again, I think this is good. A lot of the Burleigh Grimes that I see is like this. Since he was older, people would mail away for his autograph. And usually you're going to see this. He signed more in like a felt tip pen. Because again, it's just easier to get an autograph. This is a vintage signature. You're not going to see much like this. Again, another very vintage signature. I wish I could see the year if I hit this high, but everything would go away. Again, this is a government postcard, probably playing days. Again, very rare because everything's together. I mean, this is a beautiful autograph. So, again, this is not what I want to go into. So here we have the press steel postcard. And again, God, I'd be nervous if I were to buy one of these. But the ones that I see, the ones that are usually passed, again, are signed in like a felt tip marker. And you'll look at this a little bit later on. But this is kind of weird because the B is connected to the U. A lot of times it was still not connected. And again, the eyes, I don't think it's connected to the G, but it looks like here, but it's so shaky and bad. Heck, I would not feel comfortable buying this because it's just like, could it be good? Yeah, maybe, but just like, God, I had to be. I'm glad I don't collect these Burleigh Grinds postcards because it's a great target of forgers. So you just have to be really careful. If I were to buy one, it wouldn't be one that where the B's connected and the I's connected again. So we're all the way through right now the database. My autograph is a nice vintage. You can see 1946 Burleigh Grimes. Again, everything's connected, which it was early. And he even did sign the A in government postcards. Even then, 1946, the man is not very old here. He's in his like 40s here, and it's maybe 50s, but whatever. Bottom line is, it's still even a little shaky right here, the Burleigh Grimes. Again, there are vintage checks out there like these. You're going to pay a slightly more premium for that. When I say more, 100, 150. I've seen a lot of modern checks. And again, when I talk about modern, we're talking the mid 1980s, like early to mid 80s. But again, every check I've seen, modern check has a cancellation right through the autograph. So that's just like a big no-no to me. So I want to go through eBay real quickly here. And I was just looking at eBay and I pulled a few aside, like this right here where I was talking about. I mean, I think this one looks more good than bad, but it's just weird the fact that he signed it in the middle and not more to the left. A lot of other balls you're going to see right here. You could see, like, again, I know it's got a JSA on it. I'm just like not fans of the way these lean. And again, this is just me personally. This one a little bit more, I guess, with the G looks a little more telltale. God, I'm just looking at baseball because again, the baseballs are like the most valuable to forge. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna make them a lot of money, you're gonna get it on one of these baseballs. But let's just look how shaky that is. You're gonna say, "Oh, that's good. It looks like any other shaky autograph of his." But like, still, it's just like it's so shaky. I can't believe all these are passing. And it's like it's shaky here, but it's not shaky with the Grimes. You know what I'm saying? Because it just doesn't make sense to me. And I don't want to see something flat out bad. I didn't see it get signed. So, I mean, it's not that obvious to me. This was an interesting right here. Like I would feel more comfortable buying this one with the pen, with the felt tip pen, because I read that that's how he did sign with the felt tip. Again, same thing with these right here, but unfortunately, you can see what's happened to them. They've been lost to time. So, Burleigh Grimes and Tom Gorman. This one looks a little weird to me, honestly. I'm just curious if it has a COA. This looks nothing like a Burleigh Grimes that I've seen before. So, Gaslight umpire Tom Gorman. Is there a COA with this one? I don't see one real quickly. This ball first. Rep will guarantee the authenticity. So, yeah, so there's no COA with it. Do I know it's wrong? I've never seen a G sign like that to the H. So, I don't want to say it's fake. I'm saying I wouldn't buy this one. A couple of other ones that stood out to me just going through things. This one right here. We just talked about this one before, obviously. I don't want to get into it again and rehash it. This is another one I was looking at, this Burleigh A. Grimes. And again, this has a felt tip marker, and I see it's a PSA DNA. I don't know, something about it doesn't feel right to me. The G should be, like how it's all, the Burleigh is all connected. And the fact that the G... Does it say what kind of baseball this is? I'm just curious for my own. No, it's a Rawlings. I'm just trying to see who what's it called? Who the commissioner was, because again, if it's like a Bobby Brown commissioner, this would be like way too neat for me to purchase if I were me. It's just like he was definitely shaky, and the G should look more like an 8 to me than a G. This is another one. This is interesting right here. I'm not saying this is bad, but what's interesting. It's very shaky, and it was dated. And this was dated 2 months before he died. And I know he was very sick with cancer. So this is obviously a very early PSA DNA certificate. Is it bad? I don't know. It's just weird the way he signed it. It's a little to the left, obviously very shaky. I read everywhere that said he was a great signer. I don't know at what point he stopped signing. And I've never seen another ball that has the date on it. And I don't know if that helps. I don't know if it hurts. I like the fact that it's bouncy all over the place. So it's an interesting baseball. I mean, if I had to buy a baseball, I would consider this one. This is one I saw for $8.99. No COA. This looks like it was signed yesterday. Looks like it's almost like laser, doesn't it? Look how neat that is. It's all one tone. Of course, I looked at this. There's no COA whatsoever with this as well. So this is one I would personally just stay away from. So I think it's lasered if I had to guess. So, and last but not least was this Perez Steel. And every Perez we talked about earlier, like I said, he only had like a 2-3 year to sign this. They should be all very shaky. And everyone I've seen that I know is like at least looks good to me was signed below, like in a felt tip, not in a Sharpie. This is signed really high up. Of course, it has no. It's 1981, so he had 4 years to sign this. Again, he was in his 80s, and it's pretty almost too neat. So a rare piece, low buy it now. I'm not a fan of this. If I had to buy a press deal, this is not the one I'd be buying. So you may have a Burleigh Grimes in your collection. Like I said, he's not a terribly rare autograph at all. So we're not gonna. I don't want to spend too much time. 10 minutes seems like a lot on him because again, a normal autograph is like $10, $15. He signed plenty. He was a great through the mail signer. So just be careful of the sweet spots. We're going to go to him to probably arguably one of the most underrated pitchers of all time next, and that's Lefty Grove. So until then, thank you so much for watching and keep collecting.